Great evening. I hope y'all had a great day this good Wednesday. Tonight, we're going to talk about um, the new moon in Cancer on the Sunday. While the sun is also in Cancer, that's such a beautiful energy, so much Venus vibes mixed with sun. I'm going to talk about what that represents. I'm glad you were finally able to tune in. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Mercury. I'm gonna do a new moon in Cancer reading at the end of the live, and of course, I always do free question readings during the live. So I'm gonna do that. But y'all are gonna have to work with me because, as I said, my tripod is not holding my phone up. And I need to charge my phone while I'm doing this. No one asked you, but you the last person who used it. So.
But I didn't break it.
Okay. Can you at least continue trying to fix it while I'm starting this live so that.
Glue. We need glue.
So I need to charge my phone. My phone going down, y'all. Anyway. So let's get it in. Let's get started. I'm already late. So let's first start with Mercury. So it's Wednesday. It's Mercury Day. Wednesday carries the energy of Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of thought. It's the planet of the mind. You know, it rules our communication, our thoughts, our perception. It represents self-improvement. It represents kind of just shifting through your thoughts and deciding what those thoughts actually mean for you and how you can move through your thoughts in a way that is better suited to what you would like to see in your reality. I don't know if y'all are real spiritual in here, if y'all study, but the energy of Mercury represents Thoth. So if you've read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you know how magical that energy can be and how transformative it can be. So definitely Mercury is a planet that I love to work with on a regular basis for magical purposes, for healing purposes, especially as it relates to writing and communication because I'm a writer. So I just want to invite you to start taking the time on Wednesdays. Can y'all hear me? Is the music too loud? Do I need to turn it down? I hope y'all can hear me. But what was I saying? Okay. So, but Mercury, so you know, it's just really an energy of transformation, of movement, of communication. You know, and really being honest, having honest conversation with yourself, because once you start having honest conversation with yourself, then you can start having conversations that are honest with everyone else, meaning your significant other, meaning your family, meaning your you know, your counterparts at work. You know, I feel like there's a lot of things that we hold back because we feel like, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, or I don't want to step on anyone's toes, or, you know, I don't want to say the wrong thing or seem crazy. But I'm learning on my spiritual journey, at least. I don't know if y'all are feeling this as well. I'm learning that even though everyone is not going to feel what you're saying and get the direction that you're trying to go in, there are people that will align with that frequency. And you have to be more worried about, I won't even say worried about, you have to be more mentally focused on the things that are in alignment with the frequency that you're trying to channel versus the frequency that you're used to. Does that make sense? Because once you do that, it shifts your perception, and that's what Mercury is all about. It's about perception and thought. Everything is mental. As above, so below. You know, it's not necessarily what you think will be, because I talked about this last week about how I think the law of attraction in some ways and how it's taught is bullshit. because they don't teach you to balance out the highs and lows and embrace the highs and lows and actually feel your feelings. So I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, let's just say you have a job, right? And you feel like you're not being paid enough money in this job, and you do all this work and you go hard, you go above and beyond, you do things that are outside of your position title, and you do it because you're trying to be a team player, right? But at the same time, you don't feel appreciated. You don't feel like you're being recognized. You don't feel like you can grow within the position. So now you're looking at it like, I'm a victim. I've been putting in all this time. I've been putting in all this effort. I've been putting in all this energy, right? Because that's where it starts, energy. And I'm not getting anything out of it. No one's appreciating me. No one's acknowledging me. I'm not getting extra pay. I haven't gotten a promotion, right? And that's your perception, right? That's how you're thinking about the situation. Now, in the front of your mind, you might not even be thinking about it like that. You might just be like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do what needs to be done, because if I don't do it, then who's gonna do it, right? Hold on, you guys. Let me go and find an extension cord so that I can plug in my phone and make this work. I hate to do this while I'm in the middle of a thought. Let me just finish my thought. So, so you're doing all this stuff for a position. Your perception is, I've been going hard for this position, for the forefront of my mind, and I'm gonna just do what needs to be done because it needs to be done. Now, in the back of your mind, in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm working hard. I'm putting in extra hours. I'm putting in extra time. I'm not getting no extra check. The overtime is being basically taken out in taxes. And I'm just, at this point, I'm frustrated. I feel depleted, right? That's your perception. Now, I understand that being your perception because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. But when you allow those thoughts of, I'm unappreciated, I'm undervalued, I'm underpaid, to permeate in the back of your mind, while in the front of your mind, you're protecting your ego. I have to do what needs to be done because I have to seem as though I'm hardworking. I have to look like I'm the one that's making the sacrifice. Why? Because it means something to me, even if no one else notices it, right? But you don't have to do that. That's a choice. That is a choice for you to put yourself in that position and put that cape on. If you feel like you're being undervalued, if you feel like you're being unappreciated, if you feel like you're being underpaid, instead of you allowing those thoughts to lay dormant in the back of your mind and take over so that that's happening in every other situation of your life, now you're being undervalued and unappreciated in your relationship and your job. Now you feel like you're being underpaid in every position that you're in. Whether it's at your job, whether it's being underpaid for your services, whether it's not being within the same exchange of energy when it comes to your relationships, because that's permeating in the back of your mind and you're not facing those emotions. And then you haven't done the work to shift that perception. But once you tell yourself, you know what, this situation may not appreciate me. This situation may undervalue me. I may be underpaid in this situation, but there's abundance of other things out there for me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create another opportunity for myself. Whether that means going and getting another job, whether that means lending my services and charging for my goods and services, whether that means going out and starting a project, a nonprofit, uplifting my community, whatever it is that you want to do, you have to be the one to shift your perception in a way that says, I can actually do this, and my why for doing this is strong enough, or the same strength at least as my why for going into my job every day. Are y'all following me? Are y'all following me, or am I just talking? While y'all let me know in the comments, I'm about to go grab an extension cord so my phone won't die on y'all. Hold on. All right, y'all. We're about to try and make this work. I don't know how this is about to work. My charger cord. So frustrating. Okay. Exactly. Did y'all see what Sarjo Holistic said? So basically, don't let Mercury retrograde be the reason not to go hard. Don't be on the blame game, victimhood. Just get shit done. Exactly, because at the end of the day, the only thing that we can control is our free will. Okay? That's it. That is it. That is the only thing that we can control. And if coronavirus didn't teach us anything else, if this quarantine and all this shit didn't teach us anything else, it should have taught you that. At minimum, it should have taught you that. Because what this is about is tapping in with yourself and being introspective. First in the mind. Okay? First in the mind. And I said this at the beginning of this whole situation. I said this virus is an attack on our crown chakra and our root chakra. Our stability is being shaken and our mentality is being shaken. And you either gonna get with the transition and move what needs to be moved, or you're gonna get left behind. You know, like I can't make it up. I'm not telling you to go ahead and send your packages, because not only is Mercury in retrograde, Venus is in retrograde, Saturn is in retrograde, Jupiter is in retrograde. Those are all business energies. If you can hold off on doing some things, signing some contracts, sending packages, traveling, hold off. I'm not telling y'all that. I am a lover of astrology. I would never tell you to do that shit during retrograde if you can avoid it. But what I am telling you is, don't let this retrograde get you left behind, because Venus retrograde is up at the end of June. And what did you learn? How do you cope emotionally? What did you learn about who you are in relationships? What did you learn about what you need to let go of and what you need to release, so that these new energies can have the room to come through? What did you learn? Tell me in the comments. What did you learn during Venus retrograde? What did you go back through? Tell me. That's what this is about. That's what the energy is about. So I'm not telling y'all to just go balls to the wall and go in during all these retrogrades. But what I am telling you is to face your emotions, because that's what this new moon in Cancer on a Sunday, in Sun Day in Cancer, with the sun in Cancer. That's what it's about. Emotions. The balancing out of your feelings between the front that you put on for everybody else and that shadow self. They're both being put in the sun. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes, allow yourself to feel. Go through your emotions. I'm standing up because it just works without me having to hold my phone and y'all can still see me. But, that's May 16th till last week. I was done. I feel you. This has been a financial setback for a lot of people. This Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter retrograde all in a row. It's gonna hit you. If you're not ready, it's gonna hit you. And Jupiter and Saturn are gonna be in retrograde until the end of September. But Venus retrograde is ending at the end of June. Mercury retrograde, I want to say it's starting on the 23rd or the 21st, but y'all don't quote me on that. Google it. But yeah, that's what it's about. It's about bringing the energy between your sun self and your moon self in balance. And your sun self represents the energy that you put out to the world. The moon self represents your subconscious and the energy that you try to withhold and keep within yourself. As a Capricorn, we tend to keep them in and not show, but basically dealing with myself in a positive, mentally stronger. Absolutely. I am also a Capricorn. I am a Sun Capricorn, Moon Leo, Scorpio rising. And as Capricorns, we do hide our emotions. We keep everything to ourselves. We just continue to work and work and work and work and work past everything and just continue to go and go and go and go and go through everything, you know. But sometimes we have to sit in those emotions. We have to take that time to cry. We have to take that time to be receptive to people trying to help us, people trying to take on our load, because we're so used to doing everything. Absolutely. So yeah, you know, that's what it's about. And I want you guys to start. I do this live on Wednesday for a reason. You know, it's not a coincidence that I chose Wednesday to do my live. I do my live on Wednesday because of what Wednesday represents. And again, Wednesday is representative of the energy of Mercury. Mercury is all about mental energy and forward movement as it relates to spirit and mind. Nothing can happen physically before happening first in the spiritual plane, second in the mental plane. Then you can birth it into the physical. That's just the way that it happens. And once you realize that order, you'll understand that you can't just think positive, and expect positive things to happen. Because guess what? Your spiritual energy is not in alignment with those positive frequencies. That's why you can't manifest. I didn't make this shit up. Y'all can Google this. It's in books. Like, I've done enough studying to just give it to y'all. But I'm just saying, like, I'm tired of seeing the BS. I have to be frank at this point. So yeah, enough about Mercury. I might talk more about it every Wednesday because I feel like I want to do a little bit more with mercurial energy and my followers now that I have a little bit of a larger following. So I might incorporate like a little mercurial reading or segment into the live, but for now we are going to move on. Exactly. Be real, not positive, not toxic positivity. Exactly. Be honest with yourself. That's the only way. If you're afraid to face the darkness, you will never see the light that you want to see. Never. And y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about that, but that's ask somebody that actually has been through life. Just ask. See? If you feel the movement, like, and you feel the push, take it. This is the time. Because a lot of people will tell you that it's not a good time to take out new commitments during retrograde. But if that new commitment has to do with releasing something that's been holding you down and keeping you hostage, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because that's what the retrograde is bringing up. It's bringing up the reality and the confirmation that, hey, I do need to move away from this situation. I do need to let this energy go. I do need to pull back from this. I'm just looking at my notes. I know y'all wondering why she keep looking. I'm looking at my notes. I don't want to pick them up because they're, hold on. Maybe we can do it like this. Okay. There we go. So yeah, that's pretty much that on Mercury. The new moon in Cancer is going to be on 6/21/2020. That is going to break down to 4. You can add 6 plus 3 plus 4. It's going to give you 13, which is going to break down to 4 because 3 plus 1 is 4. 4, again, is the energy of this year, 2020. So this is a good time to plant new intentions despite all this retrograde stuff. I keep telling y'all this. I'm probably gonna say it again, but if there are things that you need to release, that you need to leave behind, that intentions and seeds that you need to plant in order to be able to do that, like I need to plant an intention to work out every damn day because I'm fat and uncomfortable, or I need to plant a new seed that I'm gonna start applying for 10 jobs a day because I'm tired of being broke, or I'm gonna plant a seed that I'm going to make $200 every day for my business before I go to sleep because I want to see a certain amount of growth in my business. You know, these are not necessarily my goals. I'm just giving y'all examples. of shit that you can put out during retrograde that will put you into the right direction. Like I said, I'm not telling y'all to sign no new contracts if you don't have to, if it doesn't have to do with releasing emotional trauma and weight, with releasing mental trauma and weight, with transcending those energies, then don't do it. But if it does, now is the time to do it. Now is the time. Saturn represents discipline. It represents breaking down your carnal animal desires to bring you back to discipline and what you actually need. We don't live in that world anymore where we only focus on what we need. We want shit. I want shit. And that's fine. But Saturn comes in and says, look, the world was yours when you were born, baby. The world is yours when you were born. So what you're not going to do is go about chasing the world and chasing instant gratification whimsically like a fool. That's what we're not going to do. So Saturn comes in and says, I'm finna whip that ass into shape. I'm finna get that ass together. You thought you wanted to rebel against discipline and structure. I'm finna put that ass in structure. You thought that discipline and structure was all that you can rely on and you can't get your shit together enough to rely on yourself. I'm gonna get your shit together. Whatever end of the spectrum you fall on, baby, that's the message for you. But that is what Saturn came here to do. And with Saturn being in retrograde, also Pluto being in retrograde, and that energy just clashing between Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, just psh, psh, psh. We all feeling that. All of our asses are getting fucking kicked. Mentally and spiritually, all of our asses are getting kicked. We're all tired. Okay? So I understand that you're tired, but that don't mean that you get to turn a blind eye to doing the work, because if you do that, you can't expect anything to come of it. You're gonna get the same shit that you have always gotten, and you will always be who you are right now. And if you're not growing, then what are you doing? You're dying. If you're not evolving, what are you doing? Dying. That's what retrogrades are about. So when Jupiter is in retrograde, it's saying, baby, what you doing with your money? How are you expanding? What are you doing with your finances? Let's go ahead and put it in your face. Put it into perspective. Let's go ahead and create a concrete plan. We're not going to sign no contract on that plan. We're not going to create necessarily a full momentum with that plan, but we going to start taking those steps. Because I haven't been investing my money in the right places. So now I'm about to start investing in the right places and redistributing and see what pop. That's what Jupiter retrograde is coming to tell you. Tap you on your shoulder and say, baby, what are you doing with your money? How are you expanding? How are you growing? If not everyone is an entrepreneur. And I hate that we live in a culture where I feel like everyone's kind of pushed into like, oh, I need to have my own business. I need to have a side hustle. Everything's so damn expensive. One form of income is not enough. But not everyone is a fucking entrepreneur. So if you're not an entrepreneur, maybe it's a job. Okay, what am I doing at my job? How am I growing in my job? What am I bringing to the company? How am I assisting my customers? What is that doing for me? How is it enriching my spirit? Okay, that's what these retrogrades are coming in to do. So Jupiter, money, expansion, finances. Saturn, discipline, structure, commitment, will. Venus, love, beauty, relationships, self-love, spirituality. Mercury, communication, thought, processing, perception. These are all energies that are asking you to ask questions. Ask questions. Not only of what you see and what's put out to you and what you're being fed, but ask yourself questions. Stop taking everything you think and feel at face value, because we're inundated with so much shit every day on social media, on TV, on the radio. We're inundated with so much shit. Stuff is gonna rub off. Some of those thoughts, some of those feelings are not your own. So ask yourself questions. Have conversations with yourself. Write it out. Not on your phone, not on a computer, with a pen and a paper. And then if you need to get rid of it, burn it up, tear it up. Some people might call that a spell, but it is a physical manifestation of what you physically and mentally need to happen. So why not do that? If it's something that you want to bring in, bury it somewhere in your house. Put it somewhere that you treasure. Carry it with you on a day-to-day basis. Make a mojo bag. You don't have to do these things, because everything is mental at the end of the day. You don't have to do this stuff. But it's just like a physical affirmation of acceptance of, hey, I understand this is what you need from me. And this is my offering. This is what I feel. And let me just give that. And you can be talking to God. You can be talking to the universe. You know, I don't know who y'all pray to. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But that is that's the process. And no one wants to do it. I don't understand. Y'all come to readers. Y'all come to spiritual workers and you say like, oh, I want this, I want that, and this isn't happening. That you don't want to do the work. You got to do the work. I cannot do the work for you. I can't. And Mercury is an important energy to work with in terms of doing the work. That's just it. And these retrogrades, they're coming to whip that ass into shape and put into perspective what you're not doing, what you're not seeing, who you need to cut off, who you need to revisit that lesson. Okay? I am getting very much chariot vibes from this new moon in Cancer on a Sunday, while the sun is also in Cancer. The chariot card represents forward movement from the heart. It represents enlightenment, spirituality, and just really positive change. I feel like this energy is coming in and saying, create a secure environment for yourself. Create the domestic harmony that you seek. Definitely embrace the idea of forward movement for the better through all this craziness and chaos, because it's happening. And it's definitely with the sun on a Sunday. The sun represents longevity, represents joy, represents harmony, fulfillment. And Sunday, you can invite those energies in. Just like on Wednesday, you can invite the energies of Mercury in. So with the new moon being on a Sunday, when you combine the energy of Sunday with the energy of new moon, which is new intentions, new energies coming through, wiping the slate clean, healing, what more can you ask for? That's just like joy on top of joy on top of joy. So use that energy. This energy is going to bring peace, connectivity, healing. After this uproar of all this retrograde energy, it's going to give us an emotional breath before we go into this Mercury retrograde. Venus retrograde is going to be ending, which is also going to give us a woosah. And it's really just going to be about what you learned, about who you are in relationships and how you can love more freely, how you can adapt or adopt more vulnerability, which that means being receptive. A lot of us don't know how to be receptive. We think that we want people to give to us, we want people to pour into us, but we don't know how to receive. We don't know how to see that when it's happening. And I will say that I was once one of those people, so it happens, but you have to learn how to be receptive. Noticing all the beauty within yourself and others and your surroundings, Venus is a planet of beauty, of love, of devotion, of also expansion, like Jupiter, but expansion in the sense of self-love, expansion in the sense of devotion, expansion in a sense of beauty and compassion. So with the energy of Venus retrograde coming to an end, it's asking you, okay, what did you learn during that time that you need to face? What demons did you face? What can you do now that you've faced those demons? And how can we move forward in a way that is better suited for us, in a way that is more serving of us? So yeah, that is that on that. I'm just going through my notes. That was Venus, beauty within. Venus retrograde, I think, is ending on the 25th of June. I put it in my post, one of my posts, my last couple of posts, in the caption, the exact date when it's ending. But yeah, so that's going to be ending and Mercury retrograde is starting. So ask yourself these questions, have these conversations. Don't be afraid to face your demons. But yeah, this moon is bringing in an energy of plant new seeds for sure, even though it's retrograde. Like I said, if it's about emotional release, emotional fulfillment, and moving forward, do it. So plant your seeds with clarity. If you have clarity, if you have balance, definitely go ahead and move forward with planting those seeds. If you feel like you're still traveling through troubled waters, I would not advise you to move forward with any new intentions. And expect bountiful fruits, if you're coasting on troubled waters right now, just know that you're going to be forced into that tower energy, and the tower energy is all about breaking things down and coming through the breakthrough, and again, facing those demons, because you've continued to avoid them. So you'll find that they will come back and bite you in the ass. It's not a threat. It's not a warning. It's going to happen regardless of whether you want it to or not. So you might as well try and get ahead of the process and do some of the work on your own before God, spirit, universe, whatever decides to do it for you. So yeah, again, 6/21/2020, that's the date of this new moon in Cancer. That adds up to 4. The number 4 represents Chesed in the Kabbalah. If you are a tree of life enthusiast, I would advise that you look that up. Chesed, Chesed, 4. But it really represents domestic harmony, balance, foundation, stability, and just structure of things really coming to full circle and balancing out, the side between, like I've been talking about these past 3 lives, duality, grace, mercy, beauty, ugliness, evil, good. Not one of those things could exist without the other, no matter how hard we want to deny the other side of things. That's just the way of life. So it's important that we adopt that structure and that balance. Are y'all still following me? Can y'all hear me okay? Y'all can drop questions now if y'all want to drop questions. If y'all don't have any questions, I'm going to do the new moon in Cancer reading. The questions that come along with this reading are going to be: what vulnerabilities have I been hiding from? What is the root of my avoidance? How can I feel more safe in my emotions? What part of myself needs nurturing? How can I better nurture and feed my heart? What can I do with my home? What can I do within my home to promote domestic harmony and strength for this new moon? And then additional guidance and considerations. So yeah, does anyone have any personal tarot questions that you would like me to answer? They don't necessarily have to be yes or no questions, but keep it at a simple, like, 1 question thing, because it's, it's alive. I don't want to go too in on people's business on live. So just keep it simple. And I'll pull for y'all if y'all have questions. If not, then I'll go ahead and pull for the collective reading. Also, do y'all have questions about anything that I said prior about planetary things about numbers, about magic, anything. If you're new and you follow me, please go visit my website. The link is in my bio. And even if you don't want to book a reading, you can just subscribe to my website so that you can see when I post new readings, when I post specials and sales, when I'm doing events. I'm trying to plan an event for June 29th, but all this corona stuff and it's kind of like messing things up for me. So I'm trying to plan a virtual event for June 29th to do like tea and tarot. So that is going to be bookable. Bookable on the website, if that's a word. I reconnect my ex. Curious as to if it will work. Okay, I can definitely pull on that. Can you drop your date of births in there? Book recommendations. I recommended Awaken Your Genius by Carolyn Elliott to you, Shar. I'll also recommend Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott. That's a good book. Anatomy of Spirit. Why can't I talk today? Anatomy of Spirit by Caroline Miss is a good book. My mom took my book, otherwise I would show it to you guys. What is another one? If you want to learn tarot, if you're interested in learning tarot, I started out with the Thoth Tarot. I don't know why I can't talk today. Because it's very deep. It has a lot of planetary symbolism and Kabbalah symbolism, and that's something that I've always studied because I started my spiritual journey with astrology. So I started with the Thoth Tarot deck. I keep it on my altar. I keep one on my altar, and there's one that I use for my spiritual practice that I pull cards, in journal about. But there's a book, Mirror to the Soul, Tarot, Mirror to the Soul, or something like that. I'm about to show y'all the book. Hold on. This is the book. This is a good book if you want to learn tarot, or if you just want to get into a spiritual practice of tarot for yourself. It's really good. It's a really good one. Also, one more that I have in here. This book right here is simple and it's cute and fluffy. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what my girlfriend is doing. My girlfriend said my phone needs to charge.
Well, then how you gonna fuss at me and ask me to have it fixed by your live? And
I didn't ask you that.
Yes, you
I should
did.
say my next live, girlfriend.
You said keep work on it right now. Like, you needed it now, my nigga.
Okay, I had y'all set up. See, she messed us up.
Now I'm blamed for this, y'all. I can't never fucking win. Y'all see it. Yes, it's on camera. Yes!
Oh my God. She broke it, y'all. She did. And then now she just messed us up because now I'm holding my phone again. But this is the book that I wanted to show y'all. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. It's a good book. Beginner's books. I always recommend the only astrology book you'll ever need to anyone, whether you're a beginner or you're advanced astrology. That book that's the one for astrology. That's the one. Hold on, y'all, cause this I can't work with this. It's not gonna stay, girlfriend.
Let go. I fucked it up. It's not my phone. Your phone is never charged.
Let me answer this girl question. Okay. Which you are a badass. Are you talking to Shar or me? If you're talking to me, the only astrology book that you'll ever need is a book that I recommend for beginners on astrology. You Are a Badass is just a good ass book to read in general. Just to like pop yourself out of your comfort zone and make you realize like you have more power than you think you have, which a lot of us need. But the only astrology book you'll ever need. I'm not going to pull that one out because it's a big book and it's like under other books in my shelf, like in my little book cabinet. But yes, the only astrology book you'll ever need. I don't know who the author is, but that's the name of the book. It's really good. Okay, let me answer. What was her name? Yours truly 31. She said, I reconnected with my ex and I'm curious as to if it will work. Did she ever put January 17th is her date of birth? Okay. I think you should just leave that situation alone, to be honest with you. I feel like, I figured that. That's why I said it again. I feel like during the relationship, you kind of felt restricted, or maybe if you didn't feel restricted, maybe you felt like there was a part of yourself or certain parts of yourself that you had to suppress. And going back into the relationship, while both of you have grown, there seems to be a lot of energy, of ambition to make things work. I just feel like he is in a space emotionally where he definitely is stubborn and will go back to those same things that cause you, or if it's not a he, if it's a she, they. The reason why I said he is because we got the King of Swords come out, and that's normally male energy, but it could just be a strong female. But anyway, it just seems like he's not really willing to listen a lot of times, and you can't really get your point across. It comes out reversed, which is like, that's kind of a reversal of that mercurial energy that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, I would just say leave the situation alone. If anything, be friends with him, but don't emotionally invest yourself into the situation. Does anyone else have any tarot questions before I do the collective reading? I'm so sorry that this live has been so ghetto, y'all. I'm gonna get a new clip for my phone, for my tripod, so next week can go back to our normally scheduled programming. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me and all the ratchetry.
Don't look back at me like that. You better love on me, woman.
Come here, give me a kiss. All right. I don't see any other questions dropping in the comments, so I'm going to go ahead and pull for this collective reading. Man, the Ten of Swords has been coming up in everyone's readings lately. Goodness. Guess we all just on edge. Insomnia, anxiety. Endings. Ooh. This is about to be a good one, y'all. I can feel it. Y'all seen how that just jumped out the deck for us? I will answer your question after I do this, since I've already started paying for this. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it. All right, so we've got all of our major question cards out. I'm going to go ahead and get into these, and then I will post some oracles at the end for our additional guidance and considerations. And Moon Chaser, Light Chaser, I will answer your question at the end. Please, 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 if I forget and I be like, all right, y'all, I'm about to go, just drop a comment and remind me. So first, what vulnerabilities have I been hiding from? For that, we have the Ten of Swords. So you've been feeling anxious. You've been feeling a little bit tired, emotionally and mentally drained a little bit. Maybe you're losing sleep. Maybe you just have anxiety overall. And you just feel like mentally you can't rest. And not only have you just been pushing through and continuing to be busy and go through like nothing's wrong, but you know, you've been avoiding facing the fact that you do feel anxious, you do feel a little bit insecure, you have had this anxiety, you have had this restlessness, and you need help, or you need to rest, or you need to break, you know? So what vulnerabilities have you been hiding from? The fact that you're tired, the fact that you're emotionally and mentally overwhelmed, the fact that you want someone to actually be there for you and take on a little bit of your burden so that you can lift a little bit of the weight off yourself. The fact that new things are coming and you do recognize that certain things are ending that you may not be ready to end, but they're ending anyway, and you feel some type of way about it. Those are the vulnerabilities that you've been hiding from. Has anyone been feeling like that? I definitely have. What is the root of your avoidance? Death, letting go, attachment. You don't want to let go. You're attached. You don't want to allow the transition to happen. You don't want to make the sacrifice. You don't want to face the other side. You don't want to let go of the comfortability. You don't want to let go of the fact that you don't know what's ahead. You don't want to let go of the fact that you don't know everything, that you're afraid of what's to come. Detachment. What is the root of your avoidance? Detachment. That's what that means when the death card comes up. And I told y'all the number 4, notice how the number 13 is on this card. And normally the death card is number 8 in a deck. But on this particular deck, it's number 13, and I think that's brilliant for this reading because that 4 upside down, what is that going to be? Destabilization, imbalance, destructure, tearing things down. Why? So that you can make room for new things to come. So detach from what you feel like you know and think that you want, because Some of those things are not going to align with what's coming in this new reality for all of us. Some of those things are not going to align with the new you. How can you feel safe in your emotions? Again, with that 4 energy, the 4 of gems in this case, what does that represent? Security, balance, commitment, domestic harmony, grace, mercy, forward movement, strong foundational structure. So how can you feel safe in your emotions? By first becoming comfortable and facing your emotions within yourself. Becoming secure in what you actually feel. Because we like to deny. We like to be like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Oh, I don't really care. Oh, it doesn't really bother me. When it does. Oh, I'm not really affected. When you don't know why you can't sleep at night. You don't know why your mind's racing. You don't know why your leg is bouncing. You haven't faced those energies within yourself. So the first thing that you do is face it within yourself. Because once you face it in yourself, then it's no longer an insecurity. Once you admit it and embrace it within yourself, it's no longer an insecurity. You can become secure in that. You can feel safe within your emotions by first becoming secure within yourself. That way, you can be vulnerable when you feel like it with other people without even worrying about what their reaction or what their impact will be. Because you've already settled it within yourself. You've already fought your own demons. So even if someone else points them out or doesn't handle them the wrong way, you're okay. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Is anyone following me? Are y'all feeling like this week? Am I talking to myself? Because I'm feeling this energy this week for sure. What part of myself needs nurturing? The Hermit. That means that you need to go within. I've been saying this over and over. Oh my God. I feel like Spirit is telling me, girl, you already said what you need to say at the beginning of the damn live. Why are you doing this reading at the end of the live? I just thought I would. But the Hermit card represents balance and going within. Seeking the truth within yourself. Deciding how you really feel, what you really want, regardless to the world surrounding you. Because that don't make you know, never mind. At the end of the day, you was born alone. It represents the number 9, completion of cycles, endings, resolution, accepting things for what they are, confirmation. So again, what part of myself needs nurturing? My mind needs nurturing. My spirit needs nurturing. That's what the Hermit represents. Spirituality. And how what you spiritually feel translates into your emotions. And again, that is what this new moon in Cancer is about. As well as the ending of Venus retrograde. There we go. Full circle moment. How can you better nurture and feed your heart? Take up space. Have confidence. Be broad about your intentions. Be concrete in your action. Make yourself known. Make your desires known. Build the structure that you want to see. Because only you can do that. So you can better nurture and feed your heart by embracing your confidence. You can better nurture and feed your heart by focusing on the harmony of your home. You can better nurture and feed your heart by showing up for yourself, showing up for those that you love, showing up in terms of your spirituality and doing the work that you need to do spiritually. That's what I mean by taking up space. What can you do within your home to promote domestic harmony and strength for this new moon? 9 of Cups. My cup runneth over. joy, commitment, fulfillment, emotional stability. I've been saying this the whole time. You can build that within yourself so that it can pour out onto your home, onto your kids, onto your husband, onto your wife, onto your spouse, onto your significant other, onto your friends, onto your family. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. Additional guidance and considerations for that. We have the Page of Gems, new endeavors, learning, being a student, developing new skills, just allowing ourselves to be renewed, pretty much is what that represents. And I've been talking to y'all about that the whole time, so I'm not going to harp on that. But let me go ahead and pull a couple of oracles really quick. Instagram about to cut me off. I'm gonna hang up, y'all. I'll be right back.